Welcome to Evesham Township's celebration of Black History Month 2021. Today we're going to be going on a walking tour seeing some of the different sites located here in Evesham. Although some of the buildings and some of the sites may not be standing, it's important to recognize those sites that are located here in Evesham. So come with us and enjoy.
One West Main Street was built on the once remote property purchased in 1798 by James Mintus, a freed slave and brickmaker. There was no Maple or Main Street then, only the Great Road or Manahawkin Trail. For 116 years, this location was known as Marlton's Commercial Center. Mintus had no near neighbors in the vicinity. After his passing, Isaac and Lydia Stokes purchased Mintus' property in 1823 and built an addition to the east side for a general store that was there for 116 years. A post office was also built on Mintus' property. The date of the building and Stokes' initials are on a plaque on the east peak. The remnants of James's home were discovered in 1972 during interior renovations to the structure. The little house is in the west side of the building.
810 South Cropwell Road is known as the Cropwell Friends Meeting House and Cemetery. It is on the National Register of Historical Places. In 1785, Evesham's Quakers first bought 3 acres to build a school and later a brick meeting house in 1809. The Cropwell meeting records show that bricks for this meeting house were purchased from the nearby brickyard, owned by Jonathan Lippincott, and where James Mintus is thought to have worked making bricks.
This site is the only tangible non-residential link to the original colonial Quaker settlements of Evesham Township. Except for the installation of electricity, the Friends have retained the integrity of the original building. The brick building reflects the prosperity of the Friends at the time. They first worshipped in a nearby schoolhouse in 1794. The existing schoolhouse was built in 1866 and used until 1877.
This location is near another known Underground Railroad site, the Lippincott House. The Lippincott House is no longer standing, and the exact address and location is not found on record. The Quakers and Friends were known to help runaway slaves escape, so this meeting house location near an Underground Railroad site would make sense.
This house sits on the original 1,000-acre plantation purchased by William Evans in 1701. He signed deeds with both Margaret Cook and with Timuron, leader of the local Lenape tribe. Even though several additions and changes have been made over the years, the house contains many original details.
It is believed that this house was part of the Underground Railroad. Renovations were being done of this home. A secret passageway with footholds was discovered within the walls between the 2 chimneys. In the attic, the entrance was made into the passageway through a secret opening in the floor of a cupboard. If necessary, runaway slaves could hide in the passageway or escape via the cellar.
Behind me is the Union Mill Lake, where the Veneville family once owned a sawmill. In the 1830s, this family also owned land near the Crescent section of Evesham, where a small black community was formed. There were 7 houses built on small lots near the intersection of Kenilworth and Braddock Mill roads. Eventually, an African church and school were also added, and runaway slaves were known to flee to this community.
Hi everyone, we are at Kenilworth Lake, which is just about 100 yards from where, John?
The west side of the Black Run Preserve, a couple 100 yards away.
And we have learned about a family of 40 as a community or colony known back then were considered free slaves that were able to reside here and build a small community of families. They had a church here, they had local other areas that were part of their community. They built stores. I believe there was even a school and a grave site that was here. So today we're just stopping by to show our residents the amazing area of Kenilworth Lake. So these are the areas that at least a family of 40 slaves were provided with the deeds to this area through the Evans Tract. This was a part of the Evans history and legacy. And there might be more elements of the story that we're learning about. So we'd love to hear from anyone else that could tell us about these elements of the story. But John is going to tell you a little more of what he knows as far as the history and area of Kenilworth Lake.
So this area, early settlers took advantage of the waterways. So there were grist mills and sawmills. There was a brickyard not far from here in Crescent. And so the free black community that was here, those 40 different families, were able to find work. As Heather said, the Evans family allowed them to live here. And this is one of the sadder and almost strange parts of the story. Mr. Evans gave permission and deeds to these families to build their homes. But he never took those deeds to the county office to have them certified. And then, before he died, changed his mind. He had a change of heart. And he asked for those deeds back. And those folks gave up their deeds. And since they were never recorded, they never legally were able to claim that land. No one knows, I don't know why Mr. Evans did that, but it's a sad part of the story. It's a true part of the story. And so those families were not able to remain because they didn't own the land. So,
and as we talk about the Underground Railroad, we knew that many people did come and travel to the areas in the north in places like New Jersey, and that they were actually chased and hunted down by spies that were looking for slaves who had escaped. And so we know that perhaps those abolitionists or Quakers who wanted to allow freed slaves who had become free, but were not perhaps recognized yet to be able to be free, this land. And so I imagine perhaps then there was pressure, even maybe some pressure from the community to not allow them to have the deeds.
Thank you everyone for joining us on our journey today as we took a tour around our town to uncover more of its history. Every time that I turn around, I'm learning something more about our foundations of our town here in Evesham. There's so much more to uncover, and like I said at our council meeting, the black history of our town is our history, and the more that we understand that, the more we can appreciate the differences that we have with all of our neighbors. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and as we grow and learn together as a community, we'll uncover more history, we'll share it with you, we'll share it with the Burlington County Historical Society. And I do want to send a special thanks to all the members of the Human Rights Advisory Council who joined us on our tour today as we work together to share our history. Have a great day, and happy Black History Month.